Welcome to Bible Quiz Tube. Blessed One, today you're tackling 25 revealing Bible questions from the Book of Esther Bible Quiz. Journey through the story of Queen Esther, a woman of courage, faith, and divine destiny. Are you ready to uncover the hidden hand of God working behind the scenes in the Book of Esther? Let the quiz begin. Question 1. The Book of Esther takes place during the reign of what Persian king? A. Artaxerxes, B. Darius, C. Cyrus, D. Xerxes. Spot on. The correct option is D. Xerxes. The explanation. The Book of Esther chapter 1 verse 1 opens by identifying the king as Xerxes, who reigned over a vast empire from India to Kush. This historical detail firmly grounds the story in a specific period of the Persian Empire, highlighting the real-world political stage on which God's providential plan would unfold. Question 2. In the citadel of what city did Xerxes reign? Prove your knowledge. A. Nineveh, B. Babylon, C. Susa, D. Persepolis. Keep it up. The right answer is C. Susa. The explanation. Esther chapter 1 verse 2 specifies that the events begin in the citadel of Susa, one of the capital cities of the Persian Empire. This location is the epicenter of imperial power, making Esther's eventual rise to the throne within its walls a remarkable and unlikely turn of events orchestrated by God. Question 3. Why was Queen Vashti removed from her position? A. She worshipped idols. B. She refused to appear before him. C. She lied to the king. D. She plotted against him. You got it correct. B. She refused to appear before him. The explanation. According to Esther chapter 1 verse 12, when King Xerxes commanded Queen Vashti to appear before his banquet to display her beauty, Queen Vashti refused to come. Her act of defiance, while a personal decision, was providentially used to create the vacancy on the throne that a young Jewish girl named Esther would eventually fill. Question 4. What was Esther's Hebrew name? A. Hadassah, B. Deborah, C. Sarah, D. Hannah. The correct choice is A. Hadassah. The explanation. Esther chapter 2 verse 7 reveals that her given Hebrew name was Hadassah, which means myrtle tree. Esther was her Persian name, likely derived from the goddess Ishtar. This detail highlights her hidden Jewish identity, which she concealed at Mordecai's instruction, a secret that would become critically important later in the story. Question 5. What was Mordecai's relationship to Esther? A. Uncle, B. Father, C. Cousin, D. Brother. Excellent. The answer is C. Cousin. The explanation. Esther chapter 2 verse 7 clarifies that Mordecai was Esther's cousin, who had taken her in and raised her as his own daughter after her parents died. This close father-daughter relationship was foundational to the story, as it was Mordecai's guidance and challenge that prompted Esther to take courageous action. Question 6. What did the king do to show his favor toward Esther? Possible answers. A. Gave her jewels. B. Built her a palace. C. Gave her land. D. Put a royal crown on her head. The expected answer is D. Put a royal crown on her head. The explanation. After winning the king's favor above all the other women, Esther chapter 2 verse 17 states that Xerxes set a royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. This act was the culmination of God's providential plan to place a believer in the highest position of influence in the Persian Empire, right before a crisis would emerge. Question 7. What did Mordecai discover while sitting at the king's gate? A. That Haman planned revenge. B. A plot to kill Xerxes. C. That taxes were unfair. D. That Esther was in danger. The valid answer is B. A plot to kill Xerxes. The explanation. Esther chapter 2 verses 21 to 22 describes how Mordecai overheard two of the king's officers plotting to assassinate him. He reported this through Esther. This seemingly minor event, which was dutifully recorded in the royal chronicles, becomes the crucial turning point later in the story when the king has a sleepless night. Question 8. What made Haman furious? Think carefully now. A. Mordecai refused to bow to him. B. The king ignored him. C. Esther exposed him. D. His wife mocked him. The correct answer is A. Mordecai refused to bow to him. The explanation. According to Esther chapter 3 verse 5, Haman was filled with rage when he saw that Mordecai would not kneel down or pay him honor. This single act of defiance by Mordecai, rooted in his loyalty to God alone, was the catalyst for Haman's wicked plot to annihilate not just Mordecai, but all the Jewish people in the empire. Question 9. How was the date for the Jews' destruction decided? A. By casting lots Purim. B. By royal vote. C. By dream. D. By decree. Nice work. A. By casting lots Purim is the right choice. The explanation. Esther chapter 3 verse 7 records that Haman and his officials cast the pur, that is the lot, to select a day and month for the extermination of the Jews. This seemingly random act of pagan superstition was providentially guided to fall nearly a year later, providing crucial time for Esther and Mordecai to intervene and counter the plot. You're doing great so far. If you're enjoying the quiz, hit the like button and subscribe for more Bible quiz content. Share your score in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Let's dive back in. Question 10. What did Mordecai do when he heard Haman's decree? Test your Bible skills on this one. A. Complained to the officials. B. Wrote a petition. C. Hid from the guards. D. Tore his clothes and put on sackcloth. You're on track. D. Tore his clothes and put on sackcloth is correct. The explanation. Esther chapter 4 verse 1 describes Mordecai's immediate and public display of deep grief. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. This dramatic act of mourning was not just personal. It was a public signal to Esther and the entire Jewish community of the dire threat they faced, sparking a period of fasting and prayer. Question 11. What classic line did Mordecai tell Esther to inspire her courage? A. Be strong and courageous. B. The Lord will fight for you. C. For such a time as this. D. The battle is the Lord's. You're doing great. C, for such a time as this, is correct. The explanation. This iconic phrase is found in Esther chapter 4 verse 14, where Mordecai challenges Esther to consider her royal position might be for this very purpose. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. His words are a powerful call to courageous action, suggesting that God sovereignly places people in specific positions to accomplish His redemptive plans. Question 12. What was Esther's response before going to the king? Select 1. A. I will wait for the king's call. B. If I perish, I perish. C. Let the people fast. D. God will protect me. You've got this. B. If I perish, I perish, is correct. The explanation. After asking Mordecai to gather the Jews for a 3-day fast, Esther resolutely declares her intention to break the law by approaching the king uninvited in Esther, chapter 4 verse 16. Her famous statement, "If I perish, I perish," is not one of fatalism, but of profound courage and surrender, demonstrating her willingness to risk everything for the salvation of her people. Question 13. What did the king do to show Esther she could approach him? A. Extended his gold scepter. B. Gave her a crown. C. Kissed her hand. D. Bowed. Superb. The answer is A. Extended his gold scepter. The explanation. Esther chapter 5 verse 2 records the tense moment when the king saw her standing in the inner court. The text says, "He was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand." This simple act signified that she was granted royal favor and her life was spared, allowing her to make her request. It was the first crucial step in the reversal of Haman's plot. Question 14. What did Esther request at her first banquet? Dig deep into your Bible knowledge. A. To punish Haman. B. To reward Mordecai. C. To hold another banquet. D. To free the Jews. C. To hold another banquet is the correct answer. The explanation. In a brilliant and patient strategy, Esther did not immediately reveal her request. Instead, as recorded in Esther chapter 5 verses 7 to 8, her only petition was for the king and Haman to attend a second banquet the next day. This delay heightened the suspense, further inflated Haman's ego, and providentially created the space for the king's sleepless night, which would prove to be Haman's undoing. Question 15. Who could not sleep one night and asked for the royal chronicles to be read? A. Haman. B. The king. C. Mordecai. D. Esther. Brilliant. Option B, the king, is spot on. The explanation. Esther chapter 6 verse 1 marks the pivotal turning point of the entire story. That night the king could not sleep, so he ordered the book of the Chronicles, the record of his reign, to be brought in and read to him. This seemingly random case of insomnia was the height of divine providence, setting in motion the events that would lead to Mordecai's honor and Haman's humiliation. You're doing great so far. If you're enjoying the quiz, hit the like button and subscribe for more Bible quiz content. Share your score in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Let's dive back in. Question 16. What had been recorded about Mordecai in the Chronicles? A. He advised Esther. B. He exposed Haman. C. He rebuilt the palace gate. D. He saved the king's life from a plot. You're crushing it. D. He saved the king's life from a plot is right. The explanation. As the Chronicles were read, Esther chapter 6 verse 2 describes the king being reminded of the entry about how Mordecai had exposed Bigtana and Teresh, the two officers who had plotted to assassinate him. The king's inquiry about whether Mordecai had been honored for this act of loyalty, and the discovery that he had not, set the stage for Haman's spectacular downfall the very next day. Question 17. What did the king offer Esther when she approached him? A. Anything up to half the kingdom. B. Haman's position. C. A royal banquet. D. A golden robe. A. Anything up to half the kingdom is the accurate choice. The explanation. In Esther chapter 5 verse 3, upon seeing Esther, the king not only extended his scepter but also made an extravagant offer. What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom it will be given you. This common royal hyperbole demonstrated the immense favor she had in his eyes, and opened the door for her to make her life or death petition. Question 18. How did Esther expose Haman's wicked plan? Time to shine. A. He seeks to destroy my people. B. This wicked man deceived the king. C. Beware the one who flatters. D. The adversary and enemy is this vile Haman. Right on target. The answer is D. The adversary and enemy is this vile Haman. The explanation. At the climax of the second banquet, Esther chapter 7 verse 6 records her dramatic and direct accusation. When the king demanded to know who was responsible, she declared, an adversary and enemy, this vile Haman. This moment of supreme courage publicly exposed Haman's treachery, leading to the king's fury and Haman's immediate downfall. Question 19. What was Haman's fate? A. Imprisonment. B. Death on his own gallows. C. Stripped of his title. D. Exile. Outstanding. B. Death on his own gallows is right. The explanation. In a moment of perfect ironic justice, Esther chapter 7 verse 10 records that Haman was executed on the very gallows, 75 feet high, that he had built for his hated enemy, Mordecai. This dramatic reversal is a central theme of the book, demonstrating how God's providence turns the wicked plans of his enemies back upon their own heads. Question 20. What did Mordecai receive from Xerxes after Haman's death? A. A chariot. B. A robe of honor. C. The king's signet ring. D. Land. Well done. The answer is C. The king's signet ring. The explanation. Esther chapter 8 verse 2 describes the complete reversal of fortune. The king took off his signet ring, which he had reclaimed from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. This ring symbolized the king's authority and power, effectively elevating Mordecai to the same high position that Haman had once held, and entrusting him with immense influence in the kingdom. Question 21. What did Esther receive after Haman's downfall? Challenge your Bible IQ. A. A golden scepter. B. A new crown. C. Freedom to return to Israel. D. His estate. Spot on. The correct option is D. His estate. The explanation. As recorded in Esther chapter 8 verse 1, on the same day Haman was executed, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, the enemy of the Jews. Esther then appointed Mordecai to manage the vast estate, further solidifying their new position of power and influence, which they would use to save their people. Question 22. What did the new decree allow the Jews to do? A. Escape Persia. B. Return to Jerusalem. C. Defend themselves. D. Rebuild the temple. Keep it up. The right answer is C. Defend themselves. The explanation. Since a Persian law could not be revoked, a new decree was issued. Esther chapter 8 verse 11 states it granted the Jews in every city the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate any armed force that might attack them. This new law empowered the Jews to fight back on the day originally appointed for their destruction, turning a day of mourning into a day of victory. Question 23. How many enemies of the Jews were killed throughout the provinces? A. 125,000. B. 75,000. Circa 55,000. D. 100,000. You got it correct. B. 75,000. The explanation. After the Jews defended themselves on the appointed day, Esther chapter 9 verse 16 gives the final tally of their enemies who were killed throughout the Persian provinces as 75,000. The text is careful to note that they did not lay their hands on the plunder, showing their motive was self-preservation and justice, not personal gain. You're doing great so far. If you're enjoying the quiz, hit the like button and subscribe for more Bible quiz content. Share your score in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Let's dive back in. Question 24. What was the feast established to celebrate their deliverance? Only true Bible fans will get this. A. Purim. B. Trumpets. C. Dedication. D. Passover. The correct choice is A. Purim. The explanation. Esther chapter 9 verse 26 explains that the festival was named Purim from the word pure, because Haman had cast the lot, to determine the day of their destruction. This annual celebration, which continues to this day, commemorates the great reversal of fortune and celebrates God's faithful deliverance of His people from the brink of annihilation. Question 25. What theme runs throughout the book, though God's name is never mentioned? Test your knowledge. A. Divine providence. B. Courage. C. Human pride. D. Obedience. Excellent. The answer is A. Divine providence. The explanation. Although the name of God is famously never mentioned in the book of Esther, His sovereign hand is evident in every chapter. From the coincidental sleepless night of the king to the dramatic reversal of Haman's plot, the entire story is a masterclass in divine providence, showing how God works behind the scenes to protect and deliver His people. What an amazing journey! How did you score on all 25 questions? Drop your score in the comments below. Thanks for joining us today on Bible Quiz Tube. Subscribe for new Bible quizzes. Stay blessed.